Gentlemen, in the wake of the Paris terrorist attacks, the Obama administration policy of allowing Syrian refugees to come into the United States has come under fire. Senator Santorum, you say accepting Syrian refugees is dangerous. You say it just takes one jihadist to destroy the world. Do you think there is any way to properly vet refugees coming into the United States?
Of course there's a proper way to vet refugees coming into the United States, but not from the ISIS-controlled area or Syria. How can you do a background check? Where are you going to go? Who are you going to call? You call Assad and say, hey, well, let's, tell me about this guy from Aleppo. There's no possibility in these types of war-torn countries to adequately vet someone to allow them to come into this country. It's impossible. So you have a physical impossibility here. Secondly, we shouldn't be taking people out of that region and moving them here to the United States. And the reason we shouldn't is very clear. If you talk to the clerical leaders, particularly those who are religious minorities, they don't want their people to be relocated so they're never going to come back. And let me assure you, if they come to America, they're not going to come back. They're not going to go back to those areas. So who stays? Those who cooperated with ISIS, and maybe a few of the refugees who come back. We need to have refugee camps in the region. We need to provide no-fly zones to make sure that we don't even need refugee camps so people can stay in the area. But the last thing we need to do is to relocate moderate Muslims, relocate minorities and Christians out of the region so they're not going to return and reestablish a state that can be one that can be cooperative for us and safe going forward.
Governor Pataki, you have said you wouldn't accept a single Syrian refugee. What should become of them?
You know, I think what I said earlier is that I would create a no-fly zone in Syria. Turkey just agreed to take 3 million more Syrian refugees. The EU just came up with a funding program to provide camps for Syrian refugees. But I would also create that no-fly zone where refugees could be there. And I have to say I agree with Rick, because this president is talking about taking 10,000 people from Syria who we cannot vet. This administration allegedly vetted the woman who carried out the attacks in San Bernardino and never found out that she had a false address and was on social media talking about radical jihad. Coming from Syria, it's impossible to do that check. And we know, by the way, that ISIS is using this refugee program to send terrorists to the West to engage in attacks. They have said that this is an opportunity for them to do that. So the answer is no. No Syrian refugees, whether it's the 10,000 Obama wants or the 60,000 that Hillary Clinton wants. Think about it. I was governor on September 11th. Those attacks were carried out by only 18 people. We take 60,000 Syrian refugees that we can't vet. If 1 in 1,000 is a terrorist, we would have 60 terrorists living amongst us looking to carry out attacks. We cannot let that happen.
Let's go back to